I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. The insurrectionist Riley Williams from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is set to be sentenced next week, and she's asking for leniency, claiming that she was just addicted to the internet, and that's why she became an insurrectionist. And she had her family members and her fiance submit these letters saying it was her internet addiction that was the real issue here. She was charged and went to trial back in November. A jury convicted her of 6 of the 8 counts, including 2 felony counts, and her sentencing is set to take place on February 22nd. I want to show you some of these letters that are being submitted by her family asking for leniency. The government is asking for over 7 years in prison for her conduct. Meanwhile, her own attorneys are asking for 1 year and 1 day, and what they claim is, quote, her youth and lack of appropriate parental guidance is to blame for her violent attempts to overthrow our democracy. Let me read you a letter that was submitted by her fiance, and he goes, I viewed her house arrest over the past 2 years as a blessing and a curse. During that time, she was able to self-reflect on a lot of different problems she was facing and accept the reality she was living. Before everything happened, Riley was addicted to the internet, seeking attention and affirmation from everyone she could. During that time, she was spiritually lost and deeply confused with what she wanted in life. House arrest, however, made her realize the error of her ways. Her priority changed from self-indulgence and degeneracy to finding God and being the best Christian she can be. All Riley wants now is to be a mother, wife, and a servant to God. Her faith has increased exponentially. When she has kids, she plans to homeschool, teaching them to be virtuous, honorable, and loving. Riley wants a garden to grow food, sheep for their wool, and a cow to get fresh milk. She cares very, very deeply. Well, very different when she was loud and obnoxious and in the Capitol building fighting to overthrow our democracy. And those words, loud, obnoxious, were used by Judge Amy Berman Jackson, who immediately remanded Riley Williams after she was convicted of her trial back in November. Here was another letter from one of Riley's relatives. Riley has been under house arrest for over 2 years and now in jail awaiting sentencing. In my conversations with her during this time, I believe she has learned the error of her ways. I think that she has been punished enough for her lapse in judgment by others' words. Again, I ask that you be lenient, and I am sure that she won't disappoint you in your decisions. Yes, just trust the insurrectionists who lie about everything. She has already been punished enough for her lapse in judgment by others' words. I mean, obviously, that's referring to Donald Trump, but they're too cowardly to say that. But how about taking responsibility for her own actions? And look, Judge Amy Berman Jackson, the federal judge who will be handling the sentencing and the judge who presided over the criminal trial where Riley Williams was ultimately convicted, isn't going to have any of this. I mean, as soon as Riley Williams was convicted, Judge Amy Berman Jackson reprimanded Williams and her actions, and Judge Jackson said, quote, she was profane, she was obnoxious, and she was threatening. Also mentioning that Riley Williams, quote, this is a person who was packed and ready to flee before. And when she was convicted, Williams was basically crying crocodile tears to her attorney, Lori Ulrich, and Williams said, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. And then Williams' lawyer, Lori Ulrich, said, but you won. Riley, remember that you won, referring to the fact that the jury was ultimately hung on 2 felony counts, even though she was convicted of 2 other felony counts and 6 other misdemeanor counts that would put her in jail for a very, very long period of time, which is what the government is recommending. And look, I have no doubt that Judge Amy Berman Jackson is going to sentence her to the top of that sentencing. That's just because all of Judge Amy Berman Jackson's sentencings have been there. Just so you remember, during the trial of Riley Williams, there were multiple videos that were played that she was actually sharing with people that she knew, and those people found him and actually ratted her out appropriately and told to law enforcement what she was doing. It was actually her ex-boyfriend who was the one who pointed it out to the FBI, thankfully. The videos were of Riley inside Pelosi's office saying, "Take the effing laptop, take the effing laptop." And then there were videos of her bragging, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" One of the other aspects was that Williams became consumed and a love of the white nationalist Nick Fuentes. And she talked very glowingly of Nick Fuentes on message boards and other places like that. This is the interesting part, too, about her boyfriend. This is how the Capitol Police found her. In the days following the January 6, 2021 events, a witness made several phone calls into the FBI's telephone tip line related to the U.S. Capitol attacks. I've reviewed the documentation saying that he was a former romantic partner of Riley Williams, and that he saw Williams depicted in the video footage taken on January 6, 2021 from inside the U.S. Capitol. Witness 1 stated that Williams can be seen directing crowds inside the U.S. Capitol building up a staircase. The caller specified the uniform resource locator for a YouTube video that they were describing. That's a URL. Witness 1 also claimed to have spoken to friends of Williams who showed Witness 1 a video of Williams taking a laptop computer or hard drive from Speaker Pelosi's office. Witness 1 stated that Williams intended to send the computer device to a friend in Russia, who then planned to sell the device to Russian Foreign Intelligence Services. According to Witness 1, the transfer of the computer device to Russia fell through for unknown reasons, and Williams still has the computer device or destroyed it. This matter remains under investigation. So it doesn't exactly sound like someone, is just addicted to the internet. Really? I mean, they wanted to steal the laptop and sell it to Russia. That's just who these MAGA Republicans are. Some additional information about Riley Williams. When Riley Williams learned that the Capitol Police were looking for her, she had told her family that she was leaving. She packed a bag. She disappeared. The Capitol Police had to find her. That's why because she fled. And that's one of the things that Amy Berman Jackson mentioned in her concluding remarks after Riley Williams was convicted and remanded back into custody. And then the final point I want to make is that you have all these insurrectionists now who all try to claim, I've learned this, I've learned that. And the issue is, and the problem for people like Riley Williams, which shouldn't be a problem, it's the accountability. All these other insurrectionists who have done this shtick, who have said, I found God, a religion, I'm no longer going to do this anymore, have not been genuine about it. And then they go right on Fox or OAN or Newsmax or some other right-wing propagandist network. And then they basically say, I was just saying that to get away with it. They go right back into the Trump MAGA cult hole that they came from. And that's something that I think Judge Amy Berman Jackson and a lot of the federal judges are paying attention to. So sentencing is going to take place February 22nd. My expectation, Riley Williams gets close to the 7 years. She's definitely not going to get anywhere near the 1 year that her lawyer is asking for. She's going to be put in jail for a significant period of time. And as you know from watching my analysis here about all of these sentencings, when I do the analysis about the sentencing, I think there should be a minimum sentence for these insurrectionists of 20 years. I think 7 years is too short. 10 years is too short. Anyone who was in the insurrection, try to overthrow our democracy, should serve a minimum of 20 years. It's my own view of it. You may disagree. That's how I feel about it. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit the subscribe button. We are on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your support. It's free to subscribe, so please hit the subscribe button now. And in addition to subscribing, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. We have a lot of exclusive content on our Patreon site. Most importantly, it helps grow this independent media platform. And then finally, check out Killing County on Hulu. It's on right now. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Thank you for watching. Hit subscribe.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs. It wasn't rigged, you're just a loser. At store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.